All right, man. Michigan defeats Ohio State. They surprised me. Dominated. Defensive coordinator got it together. Offensive coordinator, I don't even know calling plays this year. He got it together, and it was a performance. It wasn't sure if Edwards was going to play because the other backs they had, they just wasn't ready. Like Stokes and the rest of them, they just wasn't ready to pick up the load. But Edwards, he was ready today. Took him a minute to get warmed up with the hand injury, and he came in. But I say this: as much as Edwards has been an integral part, an important part of what Michigan done this year, I'm gonna say this: this is Quorum's moment to win the Heisman. Him getting injured last week, which it wasn't no dirty play or nothing like that, but him getting injured last week versus Illinois, it you know what I'm saying? It took away his Heisman moment today. The injury. He was gonna set himself apart and win the Heisman. It's hard for non-quarterbacks to win the Heisman. I think this would have put him in position to run away with the Heisman. And it was a missed opportunity because of injury. So I think he would have had a big game today. But then again, had they leaned on Blake Corum, then Cornelius Johnson, wouldn't have been able to step up and show what he can do in the senior year. J.J. McCarthy, they took away Blake Corum. They had a week to prepare for it, and he did what he did. He had a good game. They saved a couple runs for late in the game, and he kept them in this game. He kept them in this game. You look, Ohio State, they had 48 pass attempts, and they had 29 run attempts. You look at Michigan, 35 run attempts and 25 pass attempts. That was the difference. You can't go point for point with Ohio State. I know they didn't have a Jigba. They ain't had him for the most part of the whole year. But you ain't going to beat Ohio State, not this year going throw for throw. So, they had like 10 or 11 rushing yards in the first half. Let that sink in for a minute. So, McCarthy arm, kept them afloat. And hopefully this is a turning point for him. They found ways to get the ball deep. You think the way they was running the ball all season, that there have been play action opportunities down the field. But, Ronnie Bill got some help today from Cornelius Johnson. He made 2 big catches. And Ronnie Bill did what he did, and everybody else did what they did. They missed the tight end and all that. So, one thing this team was missing was they did have a Jigba, excuse me, today. Didn't even notice him out there, honestly. But I only heard Marvin Harrison and Fleming name for some reason, but it's just receivers making plays. That's just the next evolution for them. And I think that's been part of McCarthy's inaccuracies too this year. It's just not having that Marvin Harrison and Jigba type of receivers to go to the ball. But he showed today that he's more than the talent around him. That he was an integral part in winning this football game and keeping him in this football game. And Donovan Edwards brought him home. And C.J. Stroud, he dropped back 50 times versus Michigan defense. You're not going to be too successful. They should have a better run pass ratio, and they just didn't. They had the receivers and all that, and you going against a high-powered offense like Ohio State. You take care of the football, you run the ball, don't turn the ball over, and that's the difference. You had a couple, the turnover here, turnover there, had one late. They had maybe 2 of them late, but you got to take care of the football. It's hard when you're throwing the football through the air to make everything perfect, make every catch. He fumbled as well too, but they didn't call it. They said he was down, his progress was stopped. So it's hard. And Harbaugh showing you, even in the NFL, this new spread out throwing the football, you can win games by running the ball and being physical and shortening the game and keeping another offense on the other side of the field. On the sideline. So everything about it today, they coached well. From the handoff to the Mullins kid, and him throwing to was it Roman Wilson they called it or whatever my man's name is. I don't know, it wasn't him, but whoever caught that ball, I think it was the Schuneman guy. Down the field. You expect fake field goals, fake punts from Harbaugh today. He gave you handoff on 3rd and 1 that they end up throwing off the handoff. That was funky and just creativity. So, but when you going to get somebody as Jake Butt and Marvin Harrison Jr., C.J. Stroud, what made them dangerous? They didn't have that running back this year that they can hang their hat on. You're talking about Ezekiel Elliott. You're talking about this Trey Sermon kid from a few years ago. They got to get back to running the football. When they run the football, the passing game has just become easy. And they ran the football in the first half. In the first half of this game, it was they was difficult to handle. And they got away from running the football. They got stopped a couple times, I think, on 3rd down. But other than that, I mean, the only issue that people have was maybe the kick by Jake Moody. Maybe they should have punted, but defense came up big. Held them to a full field goal, and then this McGregor kid came up big today too. Number 17. He had a big game today as well too. So I mean, Mike Morris, them guys not being 100%. I mean, Blake Corum obviously not being 100%. Donovan Edwards not being 100%. Cornelius Johnson stepped up and had a big game today, man. Him and JJ McCarthy kept them in this game. I mean, at 6'3", he had a hell of a game. And they needed for that from him all season, but hey, he came up at the right time. And Ronnie Bell, he did what he did, and that allowed Cornelius Johnson to step up. A lot of people thought it'd be AJ Henney that finally stepped up, but only questions I really had about this Michigan football team, was answered. You didn't have Corum to hang your hat on all game, and what can McCarthy do without Corum? Found a way to do it. And Donovan Edwards, brought it home. And for C.J. Stroud, man, you can't expect him to drop back 50 times. He got all these weapons. They have to have a run balance, and they didn't run today. I'd like to see him on some design runs a little bit, but obviously Ohio State is getting away from the run, and I think that's the difference. They put a lot of talent on the offensive side of the field, but through the years, Chase Young, the Bosa boys, from the Marshawn Lattimore's, the Jeff Okudas. I mean, defensively, Ryan Day got to remember two things. Defensively, we got to recruit highly over there, transfer pool highly over there. And, don't forget the Zeke Elliott's, the Trey Sermons. I mean, even the Braxton Millers and guys like that running the ball. We gotta stick with the run game. I think Ryan Day getting away from the defensive legacy that Ohio State's had under Urban Myers and getting away from the running back. So, but other than that, big win by Michigan today, man, and on to the Big Ten championship. Can't count on the Cheetahs for their hats. Still got some injuries, and then we see if we can get into the college football playoffs. And Ohio State can fuck around and still get into the college football playoffs too. So, wouldn't count out seeing them again. So, we'll see what happens. Check out the College Sports Talk playlist. Big win for Michigan. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Reach your chance for notifications. We go live and drop a video. Financially want to support the channel. Cash App $sign CJ Good 313. Venmo CJ Good 313. PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace.